Aho vayam danyatamaha yadatra.
Aho vayam danyatama yadatra.
Taptaha pitra bhayana vichitamayaha.
Ritta pitrabhyam na vichintayamaha.
Shamana abala vrakta.
Abhaksyamana abala vikadibihi.
Rakshita yogi garbe.
Sarakshita rakshati yo hi garbhe. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Aho alas. Vayam we. Dhanyatamaha. Most fortunate. Yat. Because. Atra. At the present moment. Tyattaha. Left alone. Without protection. Pitrabhyam. By both father and mother. Na. Not. Vichintayamaha. Worry. Abhakshemanaha. Not being eaten. Abalaha. Very weak. Vikra adibihi. By tigers and other ferocious animals. Saha. He, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rakshita. Will protect. Rakshati. Has protected. Yaha. Who. He. Indeed. Garbhe. Within the womb. Translation. It is wonderful that these elderly women do not have a higher sense of life that we do. Indeed, we are most fortunate, for although we are children and have left to struggle in material life, unprotected by father and mother, and although we are very weak, we have not been vanquished or eaten by ferocious animals. Thus, we have a firm belief that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given us protection even in the womb of the mother, will protect us everywhere. So it's a beautiful translation. We also read the purport. Purport, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord is present in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, the Lord gives protection to everyone and gives the different types of bodies the living entity wants to enjoy. Everything is done by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not lament the birth and death of a living being, which have been arranged by the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, everybody can say, Sarvasya chaham hidi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Next. Ahameva vedyaha vedanta krit veda videshya chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. One must act according to the direction of the Lord within the heart. But because the conditioned soul wants to act independently, the Lord gives him the facility to act and experience the reactions. The Lord says, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all other duties and simply surrender unto me. One who does not abide by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is given the facility to enjoy this material world. Instead of restricting him, the Lord gives the conditioned soul the opportunity to enjoy, so that by mature experience after many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, he will understand that surrender to the lotus feet of Vasudev is the only duty of all living beings. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maybe we can repeat the translation. It is wonderful that these elderly women do not have a higher sense of life than we do. Indeed, we are most fortunate, for although we are children and have been left to struggle in material life, unprotected by father and mother. And although we are very weak, we have not been vanquished or eaten by ferocious animals. Thus, we have a firm belief that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given us protection, even in the womb of the mother, will protect us everywhere. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishyanamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashad Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauravashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So I'd like to seek blessings of HG Muktavan Prabhu and all the devotees. Again, we can speak something which is pleasing to Guru Parampara, and it's purifying our heart and helps us to awaken our love for Krishna and go back home back to Godhead. Very good. So it's a very beautiful verse. So who is speaking this? Anybody knows? This verse, these words are spoken by whom? Anyone knows? Yamaraj. But Yamaraj is coming how? In what form? Yeah, as a boy. No, he's coming as a boy, and he is speaking such wonderful philosophy, trying to pacify the king's queens, those who are very much aggrieved on the death of the king. So very nicely he says this very beautiful point that how actually everybody is protected by the Lord. So he says that we have firm belief that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given us protection, even in the womb of the mother, will protect us everywhere. So Lord protects everyone. So like when the child in the womb of the mother, so then also Lord is taking care. Lord is, the child is being nourished actually by the arrangement of the Lord. What is that umbilical cord? It's connected to the mother's body, and then the child is getting nourishment. So mother may not even know also what is happening, but the child is very nicely protected and is getting nourished very nicely. And when the child comes out, and then also beautifully Lord arranges for the nourishment of the child to the breast milk of the mother, which is the most nourishing thing for the child, because nothing else could be the best nourishment he can get. I mean, child cannot get any best nourishment other than mother's milk. So that time there is no teeth, no, but the child gets nourishment. See, the nourishment continues like that. And child does not know anything. He is not having any kind of worry. You know how he is going to get fed or something like that. So when he's in a womb also, child has no understanding what's happening. But Lord is protecting. Lord is maintaining. Lord is nourishing the child's body. And when the child is out also, out of the womb of the mother, small baby as a small baby, then also Lord is taking care. There's no tooth. The child cannot endeavor. He cannot crawl. He cannot even do anything with his finger to put something in the mouth. He doesn't know what to eat, what not to eat. Nothing he knows. But by Lord's arrangement, the child is being maintained. See, it happens. And then when the child grows, then teeth come, right? And then by Lord's arrangement, the grains are also provided. Then the grains can be, some nice item, some nice palatable food stuff can be made. And then the child can eat and get sustained also, correct? And then, so that's how you can see at every stage of life they're being maintained by the Lord. But when becomes young, and then he thinks that okay, if I don't get job, I will not be maintained. What about my maintenance? So he gets anxiety. Till now he did not have anxiety, but at this phase of life, as one becomes very intelligent, very matured in his life, then the anxiety begins. Now how will I be maintained? Like that, you see. So till now how you are maintained, like that you'll be maintained later also. Correct? We have been maintained in this material world from so many lives. Every life Lord maintained us. And all species of life Lord is maintaining. Lord is protecting and maintaining. So for everyone, Lord is the maintainer. Nitya Nityanam, Chetanas Chetranam, Eko Bahunam, Yo Didati Kaman. So Lord is the supremely eternal being and he maintains all the living entities. So one should not have any kind of doubt that how one will be maintained. The source of one's income is not the source of one's maintenance. The maintenance is done only by the Lord. So that understanding should be there. But we have to do something, so we do. So what we do? We do our all responsibilities and duties to please our superiors, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the only thing. So for a devotee, there is nothing else remaining. No other thing is there for a devotee. There's only one purpose. He lives only for the purpose of pleasing his spiritual master, pleasing superiors, pleasing the Supreme Lord. That's the only purpose. Whether it is job, whether it is family life, or it is spiritual life, or it is any service or any project. In all aspects of life, there is only one goal. That how should I please the Supreme Lord? And whatever the result of that particular project, or in terms of our maintenance, or in terms of whatever we get or we don't get, it's all in the hands of the Lord. Devotee is not bothered about that. So devotee is only concerned about, am I putting my efforts to please the Supreme Lord? And that's what Lord wants us to do. There's no other expectation of the Lord. So Lord is only wanting us to put our full effort in whatever aspects of life we may have our duties. We do that with the spirit of pleasing the Supreme Lord. This is what the teachings of Bhagavad Gita also has. I mean, that's what it is conveying. So he says that the Lord gives protection to everyone and gives the different types of bodies the living entity wants to enjoy. And he's in the heart. He's very, very close. He exactly knows what are the needs of the living entity, what are the desires of the living entity. So Lord is so close to all of us. So Lord exactly knows. So everything is done by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not lament the birth and death of the living being. So everything is happening under the will of the Lord. There is nothing that not even a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord, without the will of the Lord. So everything happens by the will of the Lord only. So this says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. One must act according to the direction of the Lord within the heart. But because the conditioned soul wants to act independently, the Lord gives him the facility to act and experience the reactions. And then he says, Lord says, Sarv Dharman Paritaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja. Give up all other duties and simply surrender to me. Now his beautiful lines. One who does not abide by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is given the facility to enjoy this material world. Instead of restricting him, the Lord gives the conditioned soul the opportunity to enjoy, so that by mature experience, after many, many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, he will understand that surrender to the lotus feet of Vasudev is the only duty of all living beings. So this paragraph actually is so vital because, see, one thing is that everything happening by the will of the Lord, for sure. The birth, death, and whatever situations of life we may be, coming across, it's all happening by the will of the Lord. In what sense? It is all under the sanction of the Lord. Lord is sanctioning them like that. So, but sometimes people may say, no, okay, so I'm not coming to temple. No, why you're not coming? Because but जब भगवान की इच्छा होगी तो आ जाएंगे. When there is a will of the Lord, I will come to temple. Like that they may say sometimes. So they may give this kind of excuse, right? But actually it's true, no? Philosophy. Everything happens with the will of the Lord. So will of the Lord will happen, then I'll come to temple also. When will of the Lord will happen, I'll become devotee also. When will of the Lord will happen, then I'll surrender also. when there is will of the Lord, then I'll go back to Godhead also. So why to worry? So one can use, one can apply philosophy like this also. So is it true? And how to understand? Because what it says is this only, that whatever happens by the will of the Lord. Everything is happening by the will of the Lord. So will of the Lord is the only thing. So here very nicely Prabhupada clarifies. He's saying that, see, the will of the Lord is already mentioned. Lord has already told his will. What is his will? He's telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. That is his will. The will of the Lord is already proclaimed. That you give up all varieties of your all nonsensical things, what you are going on in this material world doing. You give up all that. Wait a minute. You surrender to me. So he has already expressed his will. That is, take my shelter and come back to me. That's what Lord is, eagerly telling all the jivas. That's what he is wanting. That is his will. That is his desire. Correct? So it's very clear, and Srila Prabhupada also repeats this many, many times. This is the will of the Lord. Lord is wanting us to take his shelter and come back to him. He's not wanting us to continue with our so many things. So then what way then, we say that other things also, that okay, what is happening is all will of the Lord. Yes, because Lord does not force us. So what he's saying, one who does not abide by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now you're not abiding by the order. Lord wants you to surrender. You don't want to surrender. You're not willing to surrender. Then this is okay. Then what Lord does? So he gives the facility to enjoy this material world. Okay, try enjoying this material world. Of course, the Lord has a bigger purpose now, so that eventually he can desire. Eventually, at least he follows my will. So that's why Lord has designed the material world in a way that the jiva should learn his lesson as soon as possible. So what Lord does? So instead of restricting him, the Lord gives the conditioned soul the opportunity to enjoy. Okay, try. And I'll give you the opportunity, different ways. So even like Prabhupada was telling other day that how the living entity has so many desires. So let's say last life he has some desires. So now when he comes to this life, he may not even know that actually he has desired so many things. And he may be having his, whatever karmic quota, that may actually allow him to fulfill those desires. But the living entity may forget, I had so many desires, I have this desire in the last life. He may not remember. So it is the Lord who reminds him, hey, you had this desire in last life, So now you can fulfill that desire. So Lord will give him the direction and he will make the arrangement so that he can fulfill that desire. You understand? That's how it is happening by the will of the Lord. So Lord is facilitating this way. The enjoyment program also of the living entity. You see? Because he is adamant in trying to enjoy in this material world. So that way is happening by the will of the Lord. To make it more clear to understand, it's happening by the sanction of the Lord. So that is also will that way. But actually, that's not the actual will of the Lord in one sense, because Lord does not want us. His intention is not that he just continue going on with your material enjoyment. So many varieties of desires you have, becoming attached to, you have become attached to, you're going on in this material world. That is not the actual desire of the Lord. So Lord actually wants us to surrender. So that's what this is actually the magnanimous nature of the Lord. Because Lord does not force us. He does not force us. So this is the nature of the Lord. He will never force. Because love means no force. If somebody loves any other person, then if there is a force that he also has to love, then where is the love then? So if suppose A person loves B, then the B should have a right not to reciprocate with the love of A. He may not respond to the love of A. That means there is a love. You understand? From A side. Yes or no? It's unconditional love. So there has to be a freedom. That no, even if you don't love, it's okay. You cannot force, because I love you, you have to love. It's not like that. The Lord does not force us that way. So Krishna's love for us is unconditional. His love is never forgotten. Krishna never forgets to love us. So his love is always unconditional. And we also have in dominant stated unconditional love for the Lord, but we get covered because we are tiny jivas. We get covered. We become forgetful of Lord. So like that. So because we have that free will to not love Krishna, or we may choose not to remember Krishna or forget him. And Krishna allows that. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. It is Krishna only gives us a forgetfulness also. So he is responsible for our forgetfulness, isn't it? He only makes us forgetful of him. But why at first place he makes us forgetful? Because we did that. We did not want to remember. We misused our free. So yeah, just like in the government also, there is prison house, but that's not the will of the government. It's not government wants that my government prison house. No, that's not his main intention. The government wants all the citizens to live very happily in the kingdom, in the country, and they should be provided with all facilities, and they should grow very nicely. So this is how the government is thinking. But government has to also make some arrangement like prison house, where those souls who may not align with the government should also get rectified. So that may be also facilitated there, right? So same way the Lord also, he though he is not willing, but he allows that, he sanctions that. So like in one lecture, one person was asking Srila Prabhupada, why Krishna forced us to come to this material world? Prabhupada said, Krishna did not force, you forced Krishna. Krishna did not force. It is you who forced Krishna that you be in this material world. Yeah, and if we desire, then we can go back also. That's why we hear this anecdote that one devotee, he was following Srila Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada was talking in the morning walk, I believe, or Prabhupada was supposed to go somewhere, next destination somewhere. He was supposed to go to the car. So he wanted to ask a question. So that the devotees were like just with Prabhupada. So they were telling, wait, we'll give you the chance. So and then, and he was very desperate. He had a very important question of his heart. So just when Prabhupada was about to board the car, that time, they told, okay, you asked, now you asked now. Then he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can you tell me how can I go back to Godhead in just one word? So Prabhupada said, desire. He said, no, desire. So that means by our own misuse of free will, we desire to be separate from Krishna. That's why we are here. And if we actually desire to go back to Godhead, then we can come back to Godhead. That way it is. So he says, so Lord gives the conditioned soul the opportunity to enjoy, so that by mature experience, what is that mature experience? Kicks. After getting thorough kicks, one should actually at least inquire, why I'm getting this kind of repeated frustrations, repeated kicks. I'm not happy. So one may actually inquire like that. So that matured experience after many births, then he will understand that surrender to the lotus feet of Vasudeva is the only duty of all living. Then he may understand that point of time. So whether we want to understand now or we want to understand after many births, up to us. Can you give me Bhagavad Gita? A very nice purport on this purport line. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as it is. So in the second chapter towards the end, Srila Prabhupada beautifully writes, I'll just read that. Says that, just read, very nice it is. So he says that one can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second. Within a second, he's saying. Prabhu, both of you can come and sit here because it is very scattered. Come in a little symmetrical way. You can try to make a semicircle kind of. So that uniformly I can see everyone. Like this. Otherwise, we can come ahead. Here you can sit. No, not there, bro. Sit here. Sit here. So he says, one can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second, or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. So other 1 second or even millions of births we cannot understand. We cannot attain. No? It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. Khatwang Maharaj attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. So Khatwang Maharaj's example, no? One moment he got delivered, one muhurta. He inquired from demigods, how much time I have? This is one muhurta. Immediately he, went to his place and completely got absorbed in devotional service and went back to God. So here Prabhupada is telling me it's a matter of, what did it say exactly? What is a matter of?
Second.
No. It's a matter of what? In 1 second or many, right? But what is a matter of what? It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. And what is accepting the fact? Who will tell? Understanding and accepting the fact. What is that? Yes, Mukhyanga.
Krishna is God and Krishna is servant.
Yes. And if I surrender to him, and that is his supreme will, then I attain him. And Krishna fully facilitates us to take us. The only my duty is to surrender to him. It's just a matter of acceptance. So it's very beautiful actually. So whether we'll be going back to Godhead in this life, or we may have to take many, many births. It all depends upon whom? Depends upon Krishna or us. Both, but yes. If we desire like that, then Krishna is ready. So I have something more to read from Dhruv Maharaj section. It's very beautiful. So he says, this is 4.8.30. So he says, the process of Bhakti Yoga is simultaneously very difficult and very easy, both. Shri Narad Muni, the Supreme Spiritual Master, is testing Dhruv Maharaj to see how determined he is to execute devotional service. This is the process of accepting a disciple. The great sage Narada has come to Dhruva under the direction of the Supreme Lord, just to initiate him and testing Dhruv Maharaja's determination to execute the process. Now listen very nicely. It is a fact, however, that for a sincere person, devotional service is very easy. But for one who is not determined and sincere, this process is very difficult. So Krishna consciousness is easy or difficult? Both. Saying both. So for a sincere person, devotional service is very easy. Not easy, very easy. But for one who is not determined and sincere, this process is very difficult. This is what he says. So one question that may come, that can we go back to God in this very lifetime? Is it possible like that? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes? John. Why? Why it is possible? Because Prabhupada said that. Who else said that? Krishna is also telling, na? You surrender to me, I take you. No. So Krishna is telling, Prabhupada is telling, it's being told actually. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna have consistently answered this question. Yes, why not? We are ready. Are you ready? That's the question. Are we ready? So, like Srila Prabhupada comments on Krishna's promise, Mam Upashyasi. So he says that it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. So, but when devotees face the vast army of their unwanted desires, or when they take advice from outside Prabhupada's line, this Shivram Maharaj actually writing in his book, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, from there it is. So when the devotee face the vast army of their unwanted desires, or when they take advice from outside Prabhupada's line, they are beset with doubt. So a better question might be whether one has full faith in Srila Prabhupada's words and in the potency of pure devotional service. Devotees in whom that pure faith does not exist can go in one of the two directions. They can either acquire pure faith in the company of those who have it, or they can continue to wallow in the mud of doubt and skepticism. Skepticism, the breeding ground for superfluous desires. So, whether we take Srila Prabhupada's words seriously and truly accept the potency of pure devotional service, having full faith in Srila Prabhupada's words and Krishna's words. That is one, that is called the path of pure devotional service. No? Having full faith in pure devotional service and the words of the acharyas. Or one can remain doubtful and being very skeptical, and one may try to go here and there, sometimes outside ISKCON and many things like that. So then when we actually miss this opportunity. So he said the real question then is this: do devotees want to go back to Krishna, or would they instead prefer to enjoy material benefits of devotional service? Since all living entities are endowed with free will, no one can be forced to become perfect. Yeah, we cannot be forced to, because Krishna won't force us. No, okay, you get perfect. No, like that. Krishna would have forced us to be in the spiritual world also. Why did he allow? Krishna can always force. If Krishna has to force, he can force. But if devotees truly want to go back to Godhead, nothing can obstruct their path. And if we want to go back to Godhead, if we actually desire, then nothing can obstruct also. Because then Krishna is fully for you. He's on your side. That's what he's wanting also. No? You understand? No? Like you want to come to America from India, and the president also wants you to come. Then what? Then you don't have any issues. Correct? No? The problem is why people get late so much time. It becomes very late sometimes, or a lot of effort, because they're very skeptical. No? They don't want. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna wants us to be back. Krishna is telling only, we are not ready. So he says, if devotees truly want to go back to Godhead, nothing can obstruct their path. Srila Prabhupada even reconciled the position of a sincere devotee with minor shortcomings. He writes, also inform Jayananda. So he is writing in one of the letters to Jayananda Prabhu, who might have expressed some kind of difficulties what he is facing in his devotional service. Because as sadhaka, we all will face various difficulties. No? So because we have anarthas for many lifetimes, so there will be some difficulties when sadhaka may be facing in different ways, like lust, anger, greed, different times, different things may trouble the sadhaka. So he says, also inform Jayananda, I have received his letter, and the difficulties of life may come as seasonal changes. But we should not be disturbed by all those difficulties. Like that. Our process is to chant, and that process will gradually clear everything in due course. So we stick to the process, that will take care. It will be taken care. There is nothing to be disrupted. You should go on with your work with enthusiasm, and everything will be solved. Why everything will be solved? Because you have taken the process of Krishna consciousness, the devotional service, which is all powerful, which is all potent. It is not different from Krishna. No? So it will drag you to the lotus feet of Krishna if you stick to the process. And then he says, we are on the sound footing of Krishna consciousness. We are on the sound footing of Krishna consciousness. So just persevere, taking this process very strongly. Just hold on to this process, and everything will be clear. And all difficulties what you are facing, in due course of time, it all will be solved, will be cleared off gradually. It will happen. So one should not get disheartened. So, in other words, the mercy of all merciful Lord Garanga is all powerful and readily available to those who choose to rely on it exclusively. Though the path to loving devotion may be difficult things become easy by Lord Chaitanya's mercy. There is verse also. Dushkaram Sukaram Bhavet. The most difficult thing becomes very easy if one remembers Lord Chaitanya. One takes shelter of Lord Chaitanya. And the most easy thing will become very difficult if one forgets Lord Chaitanya, if he doesn't remember Lord Chaitanya, like that. So it's all depend upon how deeply we put our faith in Lord Chaitanya and take his mercy or accept him. So this is Srila Prabhupada's definitive conclusion on whether devotees need to take many lives to reach Goloka, or whether they can, by their desire, achieve the spiritual world in one life, is contained in the following statement. So this is from Dhruv Maharaja's section, Srila Prabhupada's purport. So he says, the lesson from the life of Dhruv Maharaj is that if one likes, one can attain Vaikuntha Loka in one life without waiting for many other lives. My Guru Maharaj, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, he used to say that every one of his disciples could attain Vaikuntha Loka in this life, in this one life, without waiting for another life to execute devotional service. One simply has to become as serious and sincere as Dhruv Maharaj. Then it is quite possible to attain Vaikuntha Loka and go back home, back to Godhead in one life. So what he's saying? As serious and sincere. So before also we read that, no? So the path of Krishna consciousness is very easy and very difficult both, depending upon one's sincerity and seriousness. Like that. So one has to become as serious and sincere as Dhruv Maharaj. Then it is quite possible to attain Vaikuntha Loka and go back home, back to Godhead in one life. Now this is a caution. Devotees unwilling to take the direct route to pure devotion, but willing to follow the indirect path are also fortunate. Indirect path means, okay, one may, take some path of jnana, some yoga, some kind of meditation, some kind of kundali jagaran, some kind of this and that, so many things. So all that somebody wants to take some indirect path. So then he says, they may be also fortunate, but their fortune may only bear its fruit in another life, some other life. In traditional Vedic society, the natural course of such devotees' lives would mature their faith through the successive stages of the semblance of devotion, like from Sakam Karma Yoga to Nishkam Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga to Ashtanga Yoga and finally to Bhakti Yoga. Some point of time when they come to the platform of pure devotion, then they may attain perfection. So that's why it is very important that we actually, so see, one very important thing came that whole life, if we can just be loyal to this path of pure devotion, and we can be loyal to acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, to our spiritual masters, and we go on, endeavoring our best in this wonderful, mission of Lord Chaitanya under the guidance of Prabhupada. If we keep putting our, wonderful efforts, being loyal, being faithful, like in Gita also, Krishna says that, one who is faithful to Krishna, one is faithful to me. So such person will attain perfection for sure. But for the person who doesn't have faith, such a person will be doomed. He will not have any chance. So faith is a very important factor. So if you remain faithful to Prabhupada's words, if you remain faithful to devotional service, taking deeply the path of devotion, being very much sincerely putting ourselves in the path of pure devotional service, understand the glory of glory and potency of pure devotional service. We stick to it. So even though we may have many anarthas of many lives, it's all the matter of time. It will be cleared off like that. So to degree you sincerely and seriously take it, to that degree, very quickly, very swiftly, it can be cleared off also like that. Because the power is not, it's not because of our power, because of not of our practice. It is because the pure devotional service, that potency is so powerful. The potency of the pure devotional path is so powerful. Because it's not from Krishna. Krishna is all powerful. So that's why a devotee can be delivered just by sticking to the path of pure devotion. So whole life you have to remain loyal to this. So this is what we have to focus on. So if like Shambhu says sometimes that like we may distribute a lot of books, we may go to prasadam distribution. It's all very wonderful thing. People get sukriti, they get mercy of Lord, and today or tomorrow they'll become devotees also. But the point is, also in our preaching, we also look for that if you can have devotees who commit to Srila Prabhupada, and they can practice this Krishna consciousness for their entire life, and then they go back to Godhead also. There is something very amazing, very special, So that's what Sir Shambhu says many times. I'm looking for that kind. Like let us send the jiva back to Godhead only. Having that kind of program. And so, okay, we have to do all varieties of wonderful, Krishna conscious program. We have to do that, different varieties of preaching, but we should also not, minimize this understanding also that how, jiva should be helped. If somebody is willing, so why not? No, why not? Helping me in a way, train him, give him education of Krishna consciousness, having this wonderful teachings of Srila Prabhupada, help him develop the faith. So much so that this life he will takes up Prabhupada but so seriously he goes back to Godhead also. You understand? No? So for us also we should think like this only, no? So we all have to become like, the horse of long race. In Hindi they say, lambi race ka ghoda banna hai. It is not that, we have to just, okay, I'll just, perform some devotional service because I've come to America. There is no much shelter for me. It's better to be in temple only somehow, or it's better to be near because they're good people. I'll be saved from bad habits. No, our goal is not like small, like this. I mean, we cannot have some kind of cheap understanding about, the benefits of Krishna consciousness. Actually, it's a most sublime path of attaining perfection. Yeah, actually, it's the most urgent and it's the most sublime, it's the most important thing. What else a jiva is supposed to do in this material world? So understanding that, we have to know that this whole life I have to practice Krishna consciousness. Whole life. Like I keep telling, many times we discussed this, that how it is very important in formative years, what kind of habits we are developing, how much eager we should be, to learn, the aspects of devotional service. How do we do it? How do we chant? How do we read? And develop this kind of very wonderful habits, because whole life it will be helpful for us. So whatever we in formative years we get training, we get wonderful footing and understanding practices. So this can help us whole life. Of course, we can keep refining, we can keep improving, but we have to take this whole training very seriously, because whole life you have to go on. We have to be lamba race ka ghoda, a horse of long race. What do you say? That way. So then, yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita also, in 6th chapter, 6.24, we have read very, very wonderful purport there. Prabhupada says, he says that the yoga practitioner should be determined and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. So one should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. So there may be some delay. We may think, I'm not getting that kind of reciprocation. I'm chanting since many, days now, or I'm chanting since many weeks now. I'm chanting since many months now, or maybe some years now. So we may start thinking like that. Why I'm not getting such taste? Why still my mind is not fully cooperating with me? We can get many questions like that, many doubts when we get sometimes. So the point what he's saying that one should, with great perseverance one should go on. See, when we have taken the words of Krishna very deeply, when we actually understand the glory of devotional service, the potency of devotional service, so even though there may be some delay, we will remain loyal, because we know there is nothing more powerful than this. And all flaw what we are finding, it's all because I haven't taken this very seriously. It's all I need to take more seriously. And it takes time also. It takes time. So we don't have to get discouraged. We don't have to discouraged. We have to go on. And then Prabhupada says, success is sure for rigid practitioners. So if you rigidly try to follow for entire life, then surely success will be there, because that's the nature of devotional service. That it will drag you and put you in front of Krishna. Devotional service is like this. And Lord says that you can attain me only by devotional service. There's no other ways. So just by being loyal to this path of devotional service, you will be dragged to success. You will be drawn to the lotus feet of Krishna. This is how powerful path of devotion is. You had some service, Prabhu? So he says, as for determination, one should follow the example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. Have you heard of this story of a sparrow? How many of you know? In Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes this. Yeah. Can you tell the story? Okay, let's have Vidya, let's hear from.
I vaguely remember, not exactly, but I believe a sparrow was there, eggs fell into sea, and the sparrow requested the sea to return the eggs, but it did not return. So the sparrow started to take some water in his beak and like try to dry out the sea as much as he can with best of his potential, but of course that was not possible. So I believe, if I'm not wrong, Garuda, he saw the determination of Sparrow, and he actually ordered the sea to return his eggs. So that's like very high level overview.
Yeah, correct. So now this sparrow was trying, from his side. Now tell me, what is the possibility of actually drying up the ocean? Even if sparrow goes on doing that, will it ever happen? Think of it. Will it ever happen? But sparrow was so much putting effort, perseverance. She was going on, going on, going on like that. And then by seeing such kind of sincere effort of the sparrow, Garudaji, elder brother, he became very, compassionate, and he felt sympathetic. And then he, ordered ocean, you return back. Otherwise, I'll dry up. I'll dry you up. So now, if Garudaji wants, he can do that. He can actually dry up like that. So same way, if Krishna wants, we can be delivered. Yes. So if we can simply put our efforts, our tiny efforts, whatever, just be very much persevere, continue this path of devotional service, stick to Krishna, hold on to devotional service. Then, by the mercy of Lord, we'll be delivered. The whole ocean, that means the ocean of anarthas, what we may perceive as the obstacles, what we perceive as the whole this ocean of material existence can be dried up for us also. So he says, the practice of yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job. But if anyone follow the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help. For God helps those who help themselves. So there is one nice point which Bhujan Prabhu makes in Japa book. So sometimes the sadhaka may get discouraged because not getting some reciprocation from the Lord. Why I'm not getting reciprocation? Why I'm not getting taste? Correct? Why I'm not feeling that enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness? Sometimes sadhaka may get discouraged. Or why is still another attacking? So many things like that. So he says, okay, when this kind of you may feel that Lord is not much responding or reciprocating, then how one should see it? He says, this means that his seeming lack of response is how he has chosen to respond. So this is also one kind of response of the Lord. He chooses not to respond sometimes, or you may feel that he's ignoring me. So he is not ignoring us. He is being very personal in his dealings. He is not ignoring. He is not trying to show us that he does not care or that he is not aware of our struggle. He is not trying to show us that he does not care or that he is not aware of our struggle, but he uses his absence to help us develop a deep and humble yearning for him. So he uses that, his absence, to help us develop a more deeper and deep and humble yearning for him. We have committed unlimited offenses to other living entities, to Vaishnavas, to the holy name, to the deities, and to the Dham. We have, see, in so many lives we have lived. So where we knew about, the glory of deities and Dham and all that. So we must have committed, correct? As you don't understand the glory, then many unknowingly you have committed so many offenses actually. So even though we are now attempting to chant, the mind is still filled by an offensive mentality. The independent Supreme Lord Krishna does not appear before us according to our desire, but as we wish us. Like today I was hearing, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj's some lecture I was hearing. So he also says this, that because we have committed so much offenses, that's why we are not able to chant. That's the only reason. So if we have rectified all our offenses, then chanting will not be the way we are doing now. It will, when we'll actually get immediate ecstasy, and his heart will melt, and he'll experience love of God actually, because offenses are still there. So it takes time, to rectify. So, we are on the process. Eventually, things can be rectified. So even though we are now attempting to chant, the mind is still filled by an offensive mentality. The independent Supreme Lord Krishna does not appear before us according to our desire, but as he wishes. Our purity, our humility, our dependence, and our desire should all be intensified. So that's why Lord sometimes chooses that way. Like Pandit Halil Sai Maharaj was telling once, if Krishna clears all our anarthas, khat, freed from all lust, anger, greed, nothing is happening. They say we are so bad in our attitude. In his words, he says that we want to sit on the seat of Prabhupada. We'll say, "Nah, I'll sit here now." Yeah, we will become so proud, like that. So he says that we need to rectify our attitudes and all. So Lord may also choose not to immediately, the way we think he should respond, he may not respond that. Just so that we feel we more humbly and more sincerely we approach. We become more humble and we work more deeply on rectifying ourselves and take more deep shelter of the Lord. Intensify our practices that way. So yeah. So the point is whether we want to go back to God in this life or many lives is up to us. Because God has given His will very clearly that you surrender to me, you can come back to me. But if you don't want to surrender to me, my will is there in terms of my sanction. So Lord will facilitate us. So many species of life we want to do, we want to fulfill so many desires, Lord will facilitate. Why Lord has created so many species of life, 84 lakh species? Because there's so many varieties of desires. So Lord is doing that. But that's not the will of the Lord. That's the will of the Lord in terms of His sanction, that way. Everything happening with the will of the Lord, yes. But His ultimate will is that we take His shelter and go back to Godhead. So there's a nice pastime of actually two pastimes which we can think of, where the Lord actually gave the mercy to two different devotees, though He was not willing in the beginning. He was thinking, Lord was having a plan, okay, we'll give later. But Lord changed His desire. Lord changed His mind and He gave mercy very immediately also. You remember? Mukunda, correct. And there was more. Military Brahmachari also. So this Mukunda pastime, we can see little bit. Let's little bit discuss from there. So there you see that the Lord was very displeased, because Lord was saying that He mixes with Mayavadis also, and then He, when He comes to devotee sangha, then He behaves like a devotee, So it's like Lord says like He touching my feet at the same time catching my neck also, like that is going. So Lord says I'll not give him mercy. So Shivas Thakur and others are telling, Lord, give you mercy, Why are you not giving him mercy? You have given mercy to so many. Why are you not giving him? And Lord says like this. He replies like this. And He says, I will not give him my mercy. He cannot get my darshan. And then Mukunda, when he hears this, and Mukunda actually feels very bad. He feels, I'm not going to get mercy of the Lord. I will not get darshan of the Lord. So he was actually into tears. And then he says, at least, let me at least help me to understand or ask the Lord that, Shivas, that when will I get the mercy of the Lord? Will I ever get to see Him? The Lord says, yes, He'll get my mercy after millions of births. And then after hearing this, I'll get mercy after millions of births, the Mukunda becomes ecstatic, and he starts dancing and jumping. I will see the Lord. I will see that I'll get the mercy of the Lord. And he feels so grateful, that Lord is actually going to bestow His mercy. He's not denying me, not rejecting me. Because if somebody associated with Mayavadis and somebody is offensive towards path of devotional service, then actually Lord may eternally put him. He will not put it eternally, but it's like it's so offensive. One can not get mercy for long period of time actually. When Mukunda is saying, even I have because this kind of offenses has happened because of bad association, but still Lord is willing to give him mercy after millions of births, and he is so grateful for it. And by seeing this kind of attitude of Mukunda, Lord calls him, now only you can take my darshan. He says, you bring Mukunda now here. So you can see how Lord changed his mind by seeing the right kind of attitude of Mukunda. So Mukunda actually could recognize that how the path of devotional service, that's the highest thing. And this kind of doing other stuff, like some kind of philosophies like Mayavad philosophy and all, which is offensive to path of devotional service, which is not good. So Mukunda was feeling very repentant, very much repentant. And he actually was feeling grateful to the Lord that actually I actually should be punished in a way that I may not get mercy at all. But Lord is willing to give me mercy after many births, millions of births. So he's feeling that kind of gratitude. So Lord gave him the mercy like that. So it says here, It says, the Supreme Lord is controlled by love. A devotee is able to control the Lord with love in such a way that he is always capable of even changing the Lord's will. Mahaprabhu said, "O Mukunda, my extraordinary power has been defeated by your loving service. Forgetting your position as an eternal servant of the Lord, you forgot your constitutional duties as a result of the bad association you had at that time. Therefore, you were affected by bad association. By the influence of the Lord's eternal devotees association, your temporary taste for the non-devotional path has been converted into eternal taste for devotional service now. Therefore, aversion to the Lord cannot be present in you. I gave you the benediction that you would achieve devotional service to the Lord. But according to the degree of your offense, I ascertain that your reinstatement in devotional service would take millions of births. Due to your intense eagerness for devotional service, you have surpassed the time determined by me in a moment. My potency has been defeated by your potency. You see. So if we become willing, the Lord is also ready to change his mind. Immediately Lord can also help us, to give his mercy. That is possible. From Lord's side, he can always do, like that. Like I was hearing one lecture of His Holiness Radha Swami, says that our destiny is to rot in this material world for many, many lives. What kind of background we have. So many lifetimes we have desired so many things, we have done so many things. So our destiny is to rot in this material world, life after life. But by some good fortune, if you are willing to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and his sincere devotees, and we take the path of devotional service, then Lord changes his mind. He will immediately destroy all that karmic reactions. He will clear all that, and whole account is closed. And you can come back like that. So this is how Lord can change our destiny also. The devotee should not worry about my destiny, going to the astrologer, what will happen, this thing, that thing. If you are willing to go back to Godhead in this life, nothing can stop you. There is no obstruction at all. That's what we read, right? If the Jiva is willing to go back to Godhead, there is no material obstruction at all. So what these planets and astrologers or what, then nobody can, there cannot be any kind of obstruction, correct? So one should have that kind of firm faith in the path of devotional service, because that's what I need is only this faith in the path of devotional service, faith in the words of the Acharyas, and on that strength we can go back to God. Because then Lord will take you. Because Lord becomes attracted to a person who takes the shelter of this process of devotional service. Yes. So it says, since the degree of your devotional service is so great, you accepted my words on your head and believed that your devotional propensity would again be revived. But at that time, you were convinced that you would attain devotional service after millions of births because you have eternally captured me in your heart and placed firm faith in my words. I can never actually become averse to you. So actually the importance of faith in the Lord's words, that's what you can see, because Mukunda put faith in the Lord's words. So same way, if we also put faith in Krishna's words, what Prabhupada's words, they are telling in one life you can go back to God. And they are, giving the assurance, and they are telling that you take this process of devotional service. If we take process of devotional service, keeping faith in Prabhupada's words, keeping faith in Lord's words, and having full faith in Krishna's promise and assurance of having our deliverance, then we can also go back to God. But if we keep doubting, then to that degree it becomes slow. It says,
What's the other than what's the other?
There was milk drinking brahmachari. Okay, some more nice things are there. I'll just want to read a little bit. So if you can read this section in Chaitanya Bhagavat, it comes. It's a lot of glorification of devotional service. A lot of glorification of devotional service in this. This is devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in the activity of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. My devotional service, my dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get any grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. It says, my dear Uddhava, the unalloyed devotional service rendered to me by my devotees brings me under their control. The Lord gets controlled. I cannot be thus controlled by those engaged in mystic yoga, Sankhya philosophy, pious work, Vedic study, austerity, or renunciation. Bhakti leads the jiva to the Lord. Bhakti leads the jiva to the Lord and enables the soul to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is controlled by Bhakti. Bhakti is best of all. O son of Pratha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Krishna can be fully satisfied only by devotional service, and he is worshipped only by devotional service. The conclusion is that devotional service is the only means for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is in Padma Puran. It's all quoted in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So let us go ahead. This says, this gives a very nice example. It says about washerman, So this washerman, that washerman, who did not agree to serve Krishna. You know that first name? You are aware the first name? So it says, what it says? Yeah. Lord says, if one does not accept devotional service, I feel aggrieved at heart. So when the Lord sees, notice yogis and gyanis, they're putting so much of effort, but they're not accepting my devotional service. He feels very much pain. Lord feels very much pain. Why this fellow is doing all this now? He's actually feeling painful. And that fellow is feeling proud. I'm doing so much austerities. I'm doing so much of this and that, but he's not taking devotional service. So Lord is aggrieved. I feel aggrieved at heart. And as a result, he is obstructed from seeing me. So he says, see now he gives the example. Even though the washerman saw me, when I asked him for something, he was deceived because he had no devotion. When Krishna was wandering in Mathura, he was seen by King Kamsa's washerman. When the washerman refused to give Krishna clothes and flower garlands, Krishna was compelled to kill him. This is the result of seeing the Supreme Lord without devotion. So he's got a darshan of the Supreme Lord, but he did not have devotion for the Lord. Since Mukunda had an abundance of love, he was able to see the Supreme Lord. If he had no love for the Lord, he would not achieve the happiness of seeing the Lord for millions of lifetimes. See, the washerman underwent austerities for millions of lifetimes. In order to see me, he did a lot of austerities. Even though out of great fortune he achieved my darshan, he did not obtain any happiness because he was devoid of devotional service, because bhakti was not there. Devotional service was missing. I do not show any compassion to those who are devoid of devotional service. Therefore, they are bereft of the happiness derived by my darshan. So please hear this. I'm reading, but it's all these very powerful statements. He says, even if karmis on the strength of thousands of pious activities achieve my darshan. See, achieving the darshan of the Lord is not ordinary. Even if karmi may have done a lot of pious activities and may achieve Lord's darshan, they cannot achieve my mercy. Therefore, even if they achieve my darshan, they're cheated from the happiness derived from my darshan, because bhakti is not there. Then he said, if one commits an offense to devotional service, his devotion is vanquished, and one who is bereft of devotion derives no benefit from my darshan. This is other than those who are inclined to the service of the Lord, no one can possibly achieve happiness from the Lord's darshan. Since others consider Supreme Lord as an object of enjoyment, they lack a service attitude and are unable to achieve eternal happiness, which is the actual fruit of Lord's darshan. When Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also would go to take darshan, he would say that. Sometimes they would say, oh, Maharaj, come, Guru Maharaj, please come forward. Something like that. So he would say, no, they have seen me. Lord has seen me. He would say like this. He would say like this. So it's not that, Lord is, we are, wanting to enjoy the Lord's darshan. It's Lord who is actually the seer. He is seeing us, right? And we are doing our service. We take darshan of the Lord in the mood to serve Him. It's like our service, because it's a very powerful way we get purified, We can invoke our devotion for Him. We can become spiritually surcharged to serve Him more and more. So it's in the mood to serve, not to, enjoy God's darshan that way. So he's saying, since others Others consider the Supreme Lord as an object of enjoyment. They lack a service attitude and are unable to achieve eternal happiness, which is the actual fruit of Lord's darshan. So, and then he gives the example of Duryodhana, he gives the example of Hiranyaksha, Kamsa. All these fellows have taken your darshan. But what they use? No, they did not find any happiness actually, because they did not have devotional service. So devotional service is something which is, the most touching to the Lord. That's how Lord becomes so favorably disposed to that person. He gets completely controlled rather by the devotional service. And this is our milk drinking brahmachari. There also is some very beautiful points there also. So he says, they know that the milk drinking brahmachari. So Shivan Sangan there, they would have this nocturnal, night kirtans. Nocturnal kirtans. Shivan Sangan. The Lord would dance with his associates, very confidential associates, and nobody would be allowed, other than the pure associate of the Lord, eternal associate of the Lord. So once this milk drinking brahmachari, he wanted to actually be there, and wanted to see the Lord there. So anyway, when he actually somehow sneaked in and he was there, then the Lord suddenly told, "Why am I feeling so ecstatic today? What happened? Why am I feeling so ecstatic? There is somebody who is not supposed to be here." And they said that, "No, Lord, there is no atheist in this, forum. There's no atheist." And then they actually, further told, actually, there's a brahmachari who only drinks milk, uncooked milk, like that. And he's very austere. So, and he had a strong desire to see her dancing, and he was hiding. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to hide and take darshan of the Lord. So on hearing this, Shambhar angrily said, "Quickly take him out of the house. What qualification does he have to see my dancing? Can one attain devotion to me by drinking milk?" So Lord says, so just by drinking milk, one will not attain devotion for me. Then he says, a sinless Brahman brahmachari who has taken a vow to live on milk and is devoted to his duties is hiding within this house because he was eager to see her dancing. On hearing this, Mahaprabhu considered that a person a non-devotee and expressed his anger by ordering that he should leave the house. And there is no guarantee that by only drinking uncooked milk, one attains devotion to the Supreme Lord. Then how can a non-devotee become eligible to see the dancing of a devotee? Because he was bereft of unalloyed devotional service, he developed a propensity for executing materialistic austerities. All austerities aimed at non-violence and imagined to be favorable to religious life, according to ordinary consideration, can never be steps to devotional service to the Lord. Inclination towards the service of the Supreme Lord and lording it over the material world are not equivalent. Okay. Then he says, the Lord says that no one can attain me simply by drinking milk. And then Lord says, know for certain that even if somebody is Chandal, somebody is Chandala, but if he surrenders to me, he is mine and I am his. Even a Chandala takes my shelter. Sarvadharman pariteja maam ekam sharanam vraja. He does that. Then Lord will deliver him. Lord is very much inclined for him. So that is the path of devotional service. Surrendering to the Lord. So he says that, and he says, even if a sannyasi does not surrender to me, he is not mine. This is the truth I am telling you. Somebody may be a great sannyasi, but he is not taking shelter of the Lord. Then Lord is not inclined. So the Lord does not see all this. Somebody is sannyasi, somebody is brahmachari, somebody is chandala. Lord does not see all this. Lord sees whether are you taking my shelter or not. Correct? So none of us can actually give an excuse. Oh, I have this thing or I have that thing, this background, that background, this problem, that. Are you taking shelter of the Lord or not? That is the most important thing. If you are taking shelter of the Lord, the Lord is very inclined. Lord is very pleased. Right? In our situation, we have to take shelter of the Lord, take shelter of the spiritual master, take shelter of the superior Vaishnavas. So when we are doing that, then Lord is very favorably disposed to us. Like that. Then he says, tell me, what kind of austerities did Gajendra do? The monkeys and the cowherds perform to attain me. The monkeys in Ram Lila and cowherds in Krishna Lila to attain me. Even the demons perform austerities. But what is the result? Unless they take shelter of me, they cannot be delivered. So they all have to take shelter of because they took shelter of the Lord. That's how they got delivered. So somebody may be a very big fellow, but he doesn't take shelter of the Lord. then Lord is not favorably disposed to him. So then he says, one cannot attain me only by drinking milk. You will see right here how I smash him to pieces. As the brahmachari left in great fear, that sober Brahmana thought to himself, I am indeed fortunate to have seen something. I have also received appropriate punishment for my offense. I saw that wonderful dancing and wonderful kirtan, and I was punished according to my offense. So actually, he was feeling grateful. He was not feeling any kind of vengeance towards the Lord. You see his attitude, his heart. That is, only a servant of the Lord develops such a mentality and is able to tolerate the Lord's chastisement. So, considering themselves fit for punishment, such persons respectfully accept the Lord's judgment and remember their previous offenses. So, devotee is never having concern that, oh, I should not get punishment, I should be free. That is not the attitude of a devotee. You see, Parikshit Maharaj also, when unknowingly that offense happened towards Samvik Rishi, then he was not praying, oh Lord, let nothing, no calamity should come on me or something. He's not feeling like that. Actually, he is more concerned about displeasing, the Brahmana. That is what his main concern is. So he is ready to take all the offenses. I mean, all the punishment. So devotee always is having attitude that, oh Lord, you punish me for all my previous offenses. I have ignored you. I have committed so many offenses. So you punish me. But I want, plus don't make me bereft of your shelter. Please help me to take your shelter. So this is the determination of a devotee. So sometimes our attitude may be, that, oh Lord, please, don't allow any kind of troubles to come to me. Take all the reactions. Of course, Lord will take away the reactions if you take shelter of him. But the point is that devotee's attitude is not that. Devotee is thinking that, oh Lord, calamity is there. You punish me, whatever, but make me, your servant. Allow me to serve you. Allow me to take your shelter. Help me. Keep me in association of devotees. And even I have to suffer, no problem. But don't keep me away from your lotus feet. This is attitude of a devotee. So Tatyanukampa verse, he's quoting. So he is grateful to the Lord. So that gratitude is very important. Being grateful that oh Lord. So Lord is actually, he's allowed me somewhere. So same way, well, we are also living. So we may have some difficulties and all, but are we grateful? I am allowed to be in devotee association. I'm allowed to chant the holy name of the Lord. I'm allowed to take prasadam. I'm allowed to take a darshan of Radha Gopi Vallabha. So this gratitude is a very important factor, because if you have that gratitude, that shows that we are understanding the glory of devotional service. That shows that we have faith in devotional service. Yeah, because once you know the glory of something, then only you will have some kind of gratitude to have it, to have some access to it. Like, who's the president now in United States?
Joe
He's
Biden.
become now. So let's say, you just get a glance. I mean, you can just have one glance of him. So you say, oh, I have seen him. You will be so grateful because you know the glory of that fellow, the big fellow, correct? So then you will feel grateful. You will not demand, hey, why I did not have 1 hour meeting with Trump? You will not say like that. If he comes to Boston ever, and if you only get a glance also, you may feel fortunate. I don't know, you may not, but I'm saying an average American, somebody who may be, enamored by this kind of big people. So I feel very grateful, correct? Because we don't, like with our spiritual masters and all, we are not wanting like 2 hours of meeting or something like that. If Maharaj smiled at us, if Maharaj told some simple words to us or gave some embrace, we are so grateful, because we know the greatness of Maharaj and we know our insignificance. And Maharaj's glance only is very great. Correct? Some devotees say if Maharaj has glanced once, for 1-2 years I can just go on. After 2-3 years, at least I need some kind of smile or something. It's like that. Yes, so anyway, that shows gratitude. You understand? No? So a devotee, he very humbly thinks that, I have done so much of offenses, but still Lord is keeping me in association of devotees. He still allowing me to get his prasadam. So he has so much of gratitude, like that. So because of that gratitude, Lord is very pleased. Because that attitude is very good. That attitude of gratitude is very, very pleasing to the Lord. And then Lord becomes more favorably disposed. He says, wow, you are so grateful. I want to give you everything. Your offenses I never took. I never take. Just like mother never takes offense as a child. Child might have kicked the mother sometimes in his childhood. Right? In the womb also child keeps kicking. And when it comes out also may kick sometimes. But the mother never takes the offense. So same way the Lord will not remember. Lord is very much, for Lord doesn't matter all these things. He sees if his attitude is very good now. He doesn't mind at all. Like that it is. Like for Jagai and Madhai also Lord said the same thing. that now we have become so wonderful Vaishnavas. The Lord did not consider all those offenses at all. So he was very grateful actually, very, very grateful. So the exalted Brahmana departed while thinking this way. Lord Vishwambhar, the super soul, thinking this way means the previous way. So Lord Vishwambhar, the super soul, understood his heart, okay, how the Brahmana is thinking. And then Lord says, Lord is the ocean of mercy, he says, call that Brahmana back. And then what he did? Then he placed his lotus feet on his head. No, he just gave mercy. The Lord then told him that he should not be proud of his austerity. He gave some correction. You should not be proud of your austerity. And you should know for certain that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is supreme. So, yeah, and then very nicely in this purport, it's being mentioned that how the devotional service is the only thing, which Lord is pleased with. In any other thing, Lord does not care at all. One may falsely become proud of those things like austerities and paths of jnana, so many things, but Lord is not having at all, he is not pleased by all that. The exalted Brahmana cried in ecstasy as he continually remembered the merciful qualities of the Lord. All the devotees immediately chanted the name of Hari and immediately offered obeisances to the brahmachari. Anyone who faithfully hears this confidential pastime will certainly attain Lord Gaurachandra. All of you will also attain Lord Gaurachandra if you have faithfully heard it. So you understand these two examples. So basically, we have to, what I just put a kind of summary, that we all have to have this kind of understanding of the glory of devotion service. Putting our earnest faith, our heart's faith, that if I stick to the process of devotion service, then I can go back to God in this life. Because Srila Prabhupada has assured us. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is desiring. Because Krishna has assured. So I can go back to God. You don't have to worry about, what I lack. What you have to worry about, am I ready? Am I ready to take shelter? That is the most important thing. If I am taking shelter of the Lord, then Lord can take us. So the most difficult path of crossing over this ocean of birth and death can become most easy. Like Avanti Brahmana says, Etam shasthaya paratmanishtam abhyasitam purvatamair maharshabhi aham karishyami duranta param tamo mukundangri nishayavayeva. He's saying, I will cross over this ocean of nescience. And he's so confident, you see. Can somebody say, I can cross over this ocean of nescience? No, I can. He's saying, I can cross over. But there is a inner attitude to it. What he says? By the taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Tamo mukundangri nishayavayeva, he says. When we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, then this whole Bhavsagar can actually become very small. Like calves of print, they say, They just cross. Tamashita, that was. So if the person is taking shelter of the Lord, the whole material ocean, this whole material existence, which is compared to a big ocean, it can be reduced to the size of calves of print. And then crossing is, even a baby can cross it. There's nothing there. So this is the fundamental point, that if we actually take shelter of the Lord and we are willing, if we are desiring, then we can very easily achieve the shelter of the Lord. But if you are not sincere, if you are not serious, then no matter how much Lord may be actually willing, but we can continue living in this world, in this material world, life after life, life after life, life after life. So it's all about us, how much, whether I want to go back to God or not, like that. So I'll pause here, but if you have any reflection or anything, we can little bit discuss. In case 5 minutes, we can have, if you have anything to say. Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful class, especially enunciating the principle of surrender and how urgent and how urgent it is to spark develop that earnest desire to go back to order in this lifetime. So really wonderful class, so many wonderful points to reflect on. I also, at the beginning of this verse, you also enunciated the principle of how to see Krishna, or in this verse also it is elaborated how to see Krishna as the only maintainer and only protector. So this is also like one of the six symptoms of complete surrender to the Lord, like uncurious symptom of particular that was
Goptutrivarnam.
Harivilas by Srila Sanatana Goswami. So in that verse, there are six symptoms of surrender: that accepting everything that is favorable for devotional service, rejecting, second is rejecting everything that is unfavorable, having complete faith, third symptom is having complete faith that Krishna is the only protector, fourth symptom is seeing Krishna as the only maintainer. The Atmanikshapa is complete surrender, and Karpandam is complete humility. I hope I did not miss anything. So, so this was also particularly enunciated this principle, and I remember one pastime of Srila Sridhar Goswami, who was contemporary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who was the original. Srila Prabhupada said he was the original commentator of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya accepted his commentary on Bhagavatam completely, and he was the authorized commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always quoted these commentaries of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he wanted to take sannyas, but his wife became pregnant. So he thought it's unfair, when his wife is pregnant to leave house and go take sannyas. So he thought he will wait until his wife delivers the baby. So the baby was delivered, but unfortunately, wife died in the process of childbirth. So then he was again perplexed that how he will leave the house when he has a newborn child. And so he thought he will again wait for some years until the child is grown up and he can take care of himself. So while he was thinking like this, a baby lizard fell from the roof on the floor. And as soon as the baby lizard was also like a newborn baby lizard. And there was an ant or some insect was flying by. So the baby lizard, he darted his tongue and ate the ant or the fly. And then Sridhar Swami realized that Krishna has already made a provision to, even sustain this baby lizard. So I don't have to do anything. So as this child is born, so Krishna has already made provisions for this child. And Krishna is the only maintainer. Krishna is the real maintainer of this child. So thinking like this, then he left the house. And sure enough, it might seem heartless and irresponsible, but sure enough, some couple was passing by his house and they heard the baby crying, and then they went ahead and then they adopted this baby and then took care of this baby and raised this baby. So, so I just remember this past time when I heard about this principle in this course. So I just wanted to share it, and really thank you so much. So many good things.
Thank you. This is one paragraph. Let's read this. All activities of a human being are under the control of providence. What to speak of this? The entire world is under the control of providence. Birth, activities, the results of pious and impious actions, and the meeting and separation of all living entities are under the control of providence. Therefore, there is no force superior to providence. Yet Lord Krishna is greater than providence. Since providence is under the control of Lord Krishna, saintly persons worship Krishna, who is the super soul and supreme personality of Godhead. Through his pastime, Sri Krishna can diminish or expand his providence. Expand this providence. Therefore, the devotees of Lord Krishna are not bound by providence. They are imperishable and transcendental. So yes, actually everything will be taken care by the Lord. Anyway, Lord is taking care of everyone. So by providence will take care anyway. But Lord is very personally also taking care of the devotees, because devotee is willing to come back. So Lord will make all arrangements, and very swiftly he will deliver the devotee. Deshamaham samudra and Vittu samsara sagra. He will do that. Just it's our willingness if you are willing to take. So all help will be provided by the Lord. So that's why Yeah.
So one question, you also spoke about offensive mentality. So there is this one stage, like we commit offenses, then we apologize to devotees, like like forgiveness. That is also good starting point. But is it really only possible to while we are struggling with all other thoughts to not be offensive at all? And actually, how to achieve that platform, that not be offensive?
What my understanding is, at least we can try to be having proper attitude. Like I was quoting other day that one devotee, there was some kind of thing he was not happy with my some behavior. So then, and I was trying hard to give him greeting card, to offering obeisances, so many things I was trying to do. But that devotee was somehow not inclined. And I was feeling very restless. Now, what is this? No, I'm giving so many things. In fact, I was feeling bad. Why this Prabhu is like this? No. So instead of thinking, okay, then what happens? Then I consulted one devotee. I told Prabhu, I so much tried hard. I gave him greeting card. I offered obeisances so many times from my end only. But I don't find that devotee is actually so much willing to forgive or something or show that kind of reciprocation. So why is not forgiving me, Prabhu? I was asking, why is not forgiving me, Prabhu? Then he told a very nice thing, which actually struck me. Now also, I feel that's very important input here. He said that, Prabhu, instead of you trying to see, sometimes when you when you have offended somebody, then we're more concerned about the reaction, because we have heard so much of danger, danger of Vaishnava. Reaction will come on me. I will lose taste. I will lose ecstasy. And so it's all, I mean, in from spiritual perspective only, but it's all about me. But he was saying, oh, we can think that how you must have displeased that devotee with what your behavior. So you just shift your thought in a way that, okay, how can I please that devotee? Because somewhere he's displeased. That's how he felt offended. So devotee, so when we have committed offense to someone, so instead of course, we can have that as a caution, that fear, that like fear of sin. Like Rajshambhu says, we should have fear of sinful activities, because he will get doomed to a degraded life and all that thing. But more than that, a devotee's attitude could be that I don't want to commit sin because Lord will be displeased. I will waste my time. Lord will not be happy if I commit this kind of sins, if I get into all these things. That is a more devotional attitude. So same way for offense also, I have displeased the devotee in some way. So let me please the devotee. That's why, let me serve him. Let me please him. So then I try to focus on this point. Okay, let me try to first serve that devotee. So I try to do that. And I found even he was trying to do some kind of service indirectly. I saw sometimes he folded my clothes or something he did. So I was thinking, my Lord, so it's working. I had a serious intent without any expectation. I want, at least I tried. I'm not saying I was perfect, but at least I was trying in that direction, taking the consultation of the devotee. So that actually gave me a very good lesson. I thought that it's actually we have to become more selfless in our attitude. So at least we may be having struggle of, we may have anarthas and all that. We may commit that way offenses. Sometimes we are so helpless. But as in, we can keep trying to rectify our attitude, because it's all about attitude. More we become rectifying our attitude, offenses will be less and less than that way it is. So all the 10 offenses also is about attitude, attitude towards spiritual master, attitude towards the holy name, attitude towards the people whom we are trying to preach, attitude towards Vedic scriptures, so attitude towards demigods. So it's all about attitude, attitude towards the pure devotees. We may blaspheme him sometimes. So if we rectify our attitude, or if we are feeling that we are lacking the right attitude, going to some devotee who has who can help us understand how to actually rectify my attitude, then we can learn. And when we have this kind of at least attitude to not commit offenses and be careful and learn our lessons, then Lord will help us. So once when Maharaj, I think Bhakti Damodar Maharaj, he was saying that. So we have this is a Nama Prad stage, Nama Bhas and Shuddhana. So Nama Prad stage is a stage actually. We will commit offenses. It's not that suddenly we'll come to Nama Bhas and Shuddhana. But what makes a difference? The stage is there, but at least we are very sincerely striving to avoid the offenses. That is something will make difference. So if we can sincerely try to avoid those offenses by rectifying our attitude, keeping the right attitude, then the holy name will help us. Then holy name will not punish us. he will actually help us more and more to come out of the offenses, because the attitude is to overcome, and that is called namabhas, lessening offenses. So from namabhas, then we'll come to namabhas like that. That's why devotees should actually be under the shelter of senior devotees who can help us, understand that how we have to rectify our behavior, our attitudes, and by submitting to them, then we can slowly overcome. The problem is, the challenge is that in a very beginning stage, sometimes we are not willing only, to even associate with devotees and be under their care. That's again because of very heavy envy towards the Supreme Lord and devotees. So it becomes sometimes problematic. But at least if we can understand this at the earliest, that I need, to be under the custody of some devotees and some senior Vaishnavas, and then we submit to them, even though our mind may, feel angry also towards them. But we should know these are my own mind, dirty mind only. I have to get rectified. And then by this kind of submission, having this kind of attitude, I'm willing to take the correction, willing to rectify our attitudes, then slowly we can overcome actually, no matter how bad situation we might be in. But gradually can work. This is my understanding. So maybe if you want to add something, you can add. Or Prabhu, you wants to add something.
I remember the Devanand Pandit, I was just thinking.
Yeah, correct.
Look for what third person was Devanand Pandit, which absolutely. But his case is different. So Devanand Pandit, how he had committed offenses towards
Shivaswin,
yeah. And so even though he did not do directly, but it was indirectly. And then, but then he served the devotees very nicely. So he did not serve Srivas Pandit, but he served Vakrishna Pandit.
Correct.
And Lord was pleased by that. And that is how when serving other devotees. So
because his attitude is rectified.
So that's why.
Lord
It's
sees
not that. So we have to keep on serving devotees. So it's not like I'll simply say, okay, we have been committed to one devotee. So I think we will not get a chance to again this because in the modern day world it is not possible perhaps. And even though we approached maybe that devotee as you and in your case, like we were saying that that devotee was not was not ready to forgive or whatever it is, or he was not reciprocating in one sense, because his heart was closed at that time. But of course, because being a devotee, definitely in his heart, he would realize that that things have changed. So similarly, in our case, what we also have to do this is keep serving devotees, and more importantly, as you rightly said, that like understand that we have gone wrong and try to change it, and express our our inabilities, incapabilities, and our struggle, whatever struggle we have with the Lord, and repent for that. And more important, like when we did, but also show with our desire that we would like to change. It's not like it's like if we keep on doing the same, it's like a kunjara. What is that? Kunjara. We have to change. So then if we don't change, then we must show that my dear Lord, I'm willing to change. And we should ask my dear Lord, I really want to, I want to change. Please give me way. Please show me, show me the avenues where I can change it. I'm willing to change. I want to do something. So give me strength. Give me the guidance. And this is how, when we ask and when we show sincere desire to the Lord, then gradually, someday we'll get. Maybe right now we may not, but Lord will show us the way, and He'll give us sense. He'll give us some ways how we can mend our ways. Now, this is what I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one classic example.
Yeah.
Maharaj has also glorified that.
Like we find the incident that he's going and asking for, it may not be the case sometimes.
Exactly.
But he was
really
rectified.
very good. Maharaj has given class on that. That's also another thing. It's very important for us to understand how. Why I am saying it, I'm actually saying to myself that how I am, because being in this position is always one of the most difficult things. Always it's said to be always under scrutiny when people get offended very easily. And my tendency is there's a very in such a way that we have to come into the such mode that you have to when you deal with certain things. So people get offended very easily. That's why we have to be careful. And one thing is that there is no doomsday for anyone.
There is no?
I mean, I asked one time to the Chandramani Swami also. There is no doomsday for doomsday. I mean, eternally damnation is not.
Mm.
So there is nothing. There is always a hope. Just like how Mukunda, there is always a hope.
Mm.
There's like live for a good hope. And yes, we have opportunity. Yes, we're struggling some, but yes, but keep on moving. There is always a hope. Always hope. Never lose ever at any time hope. Just keep on working towards.
In that connection, the section Prabhuji read from his Grace Bhurijan Prabhu's book, that was very both-giving, that it might feel that Krishna is absent from our life, but that is also intentional, deliberate from so that to increase our units. That was really amazing. And very motivating.
So one thing is always catch hold of devotees, no matter what always stay with all the time with the devotees. Stay with the devotees, always aspire to each devotees, always like hang around with the devotees, always like just be with the devotees all the time, no matter what, like how much it is. Like as Rashmi Prabhu also tells me, yes, it happens like the gada 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 gada, that all the the diamonds or the what over there. Yeah, if they're rough, when they're rough and very polished, that time they always make sound. But eventually when they get polished, like that's how it is. Like we are in that stage, gada 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 stage. We're rough but getting polished. But once it is polished, like, they'll actually turn out to be very good. Yeah, it takes. And now how long the stage is of polishing, we don't know. We just have to keep on working on it and never
We
leave.
get to our part.
Yeah.
Then wait for patiently. This is another point that our part we should do. Then patiently we have to wait for Lord's.
Yes, that's
And even if it takes many lifetimes for us, we should be prepared to give this life. We should be designing like that. But from Lord's side, if He wants us to be fine, but I don't lose anything. If I get association of devotees, if I'm getting prasad, if I'm getting ability to serve, it's what devotee aspires. So it does not demand. Keep that humility. I have never qualified that. But yes, if given the opportunity, I would like to immediately take shelter of the Lord and go back.
There is another aspect, sorry,
Yeah.
another question again. I want to reach on service. Going back to Godhead in this lifetime itself, about that, sometimes a practitioner or a devotee can feel unfulfilled spiritually in this lifetime because they are not able to, like, do sadhana, like attend Mangalarti every day or chant nicely every day, do other services. So spiritually, there are material desires. For material desires, many entity want to take birth again, fulfill those material desires, but there are spiritual desires as well. So practitioner can feel, my devotional service is incomplete. So I don't want to go, not just because of humility that I'm not ready, I'm not qualified to go back to Godhead, but I did not do anything in this life. So I really want to, do devotional service. My heart's full desire and do everything nicely, perfectly for the Lord. So devotees nicely. So for that desire, a devotee might want to take another birth. So is that all right, or is that risky? I don't know how to phrase this question, but what I mean to say is the devotee feels unfulfilled spiritually. And then
Yeah. I mean, that's what I say that if so devotee always will feel that it's not that I'm perfect in my devotional service. No matter how much somebody may be doing, he always feels that he always lacks. So what is the point is emphasized here is that from our end, we should be willing. We should be willing if Lord gives me that opportunity. So we should be willing. Actually, it's a whole problem, whole point what we're trying to discuss is that it's our unwillingness to surrender to the Lord, which is actually delaying my, going back to Godhead, perfecting my life. So that unwillingness is something which you have to recognize. And I'm willing, but I'm not qualified. I lack so many disqualification. I have not completed my devotion service. I'm not yet matured in my devotion service. These thoughts are there with the devotee. That's why he's patiently ready to wait and do his homework also. He's ready. Lord, you want me to do homework? How many lives? It's up to you, Lord. But yes, But for my will is that I take full shelter of you and I just do all my devotion service and I mature myself and I quickly attain pure love for you. Because that's what pleases you and that's what is my situation. I mean, that my real position also should be. So why should I remain in that disease condition? So that is a willingness of a devotee. At the same time, he has humility. That's why he's ready to wait. So he does not. So that way, that attitude of not demanding also is there. He won't demand he don't demand to the Lord. He only will look for, Lord, let me, remain nicely sheltered and, and take your shelter. Let me not have any unwillingness to take your shelter. And if you want me to do some further homework, whatever you want, it's fine. It's up to you. You want me to do a little more, some more lifetimes, it's up to you. So that way, he will not have this kind of demanding attitude because he is not feeling that he's qualified. That's why sometimes the devotees also say that, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that, but that कीट जन्म हो यथा तु अदास बहिर्मुखा ब्रह्म जन्म जन्माओ भी मोए यदि जन्माओ भी मोए इच्छा यदि तो भकत ग्रहे जनी जन्म हो मोर. Even Acharya is praying that if Lord, if you desire that I have to take birth again, give me birth in a house of a devotee where I'll get some prasadam, where I'll have some kind of opportunity to get the dust of the lotus feet of devotees or some association that way. So I'll continue my devotion, sir. I'll continue my homework. This is the attitude of devotees, my understanding. So we have some more we can. Right. And about this forgiveness, I was thinking that if you have opportunity to go to the devotee and ask forgiveness, actually we should do that. And sometimes because of some reasons, we may not know. Sometimes we may not know also. We have committed unknown offense. That's why that Vansakal Tarubhasham we do in the morning. At that time, we can actually, submit to the Lord and submit to the Vaishnavas. I don't know how many, I have committed so many offenses, I may not even know also. But if you come to know some way, and there is some way to approach the devotee and ask forgiveness, we can also try to do that, keeping the right attitude also, right? Rectifying my attitude, feeling bad that I displeased that devotee, having that right kind of feeling, and submitting to that devotee also is, good. It's also important. Yeah, but sometimes, as Prabhuji said, sometimes may not be feasible because we may not know we have committed the offense. If we can find out, that's best. And sometimes the devotee sometimes the devotee must have left the body also sometimes. We don't know. Or may not be accessible sometimes. It could be the case like that also sometimes. So, but we feel repentant and we feel the pain of displeasing and we are willing to rectify our attitude, rectify our behavior, praying to the Lord as Prabhuji very nicely said. Then Lord forgives and then it's fine. And devotee is ready to take the punishment also. He's not saying that let not that direction doesn't come on me. Any kind of suffering comes fine, but let me not, let me rectify my behavior and let me please that devotee. That's the mood. Okay, so I think we should pause here. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam.